with one little word, sentences my family to death. Simon. My eyes widen with horror. Simon Rich is 2K's class clown, a pudgy, hyperactive boy with some kind of undiagnosed emotional problem. Hamster feeder, he shouts. What you talking about, Willis? The other children laugh hysterically. My God, I think. This is it. This is how it ends. 11:25 a.m. Free time's almost over, Miss Hudson says. Don't forget to do your jobs. I sigh with relief as Simon finally waddles to our cage. He doesn't feed us, though, or replenish our water. Instead, he picks me up by my tail, which is connected directly to my spine. The pain is so searing it shocks me into a kind of perverse laughter. I did not know my body could hurt this way, that God would allow one of his own creatures to suffer on this level. Simon swings me through the air while singing nonsensically in his high-pitched nasal voice. I glance at my babies, hidden safely under newspaper. Even at the peak of my agony, I am grateful that Simon has focused his sadism on me. Otherwise, it might be them who suffered. Free time ends, and Simon drops me back into my cage from several times my own height. My sons poke their heads through the newspaper. They look around confusedly, then stare at me in dismay. They're used to receiving food at this hour, but I have none to give. Simon has forgotten to do his one basic task. There is still some water left in our bottle from last week, but all it can do is prolong our agony. Without grain, we won't live long. 2:30 p.m. During science class, Miss Hudson unveils a large glossy map of the solar system. There are 9 planets, she says. Which one do we live on? Mars, Simon shouts. The other children howl uproariously. This is what passes for wit among them, the basic substitution of one word for another. Very funny, Miss Hudson says, smiling indulgently. But of course, we really live on Earth, the 3rd planet from the sun. Mars is the 4th planet, and after that one comes Jupiter, Saturn. I sigh with misery. It's obvious what's about to happen. Uranus. There is a split-second pause, and then the class erupts into full-fledged mayhem. I try to shield my sons from the noise, but it's too late. The monsters have heard a dirty word and cannot contain their excitement. Uranus, Simon screams. Your anus! I lock eyes with the teacher, silently willing her to beat him, but all she does is walk across the classroom and turn off the fluorescent lights. Her strategy fails. The children's laughter grows so deafening that I can feel my eardrums throbbing in my skull. Some of the students are standing on their desks, swinging their arms around in a kind of mania. The chaos gradually subsides, but only because the children grow exhausted. The utterance of the word anus has produced in them pure ecstasy. Several of them are crying real tears. Miss Hudson turns the lights back on, and I glance at the clock. The Uranus episode has lasted 13 minutes. Before the lesson can resume, the bell rings. The spoiled brats run laughing through the door, another day of foolishness behind them. I watch as my children drink our last remaining drops of water. We'll be lucky to make it through the night. Tuesday, 8:15 a.m. I awake to the sound of screeching laughter. Sophie and Alyssa have made a dress out of pink construction paper and taped it to my sleeping body. You're a pretty girl, Princess Jasmine, Alyssa says. A pretty, pretty girl. I try to remove the costume, but the tape is double-sided, and my paws are too weak to detach it. I must wear this dress indefinitely in the presence of my own sons. I avoid their eyes, and they avoid mine. Whatever dignity I had left is surrendered. During attendance, everyone says here, except for Simon, who says not here. Somehow this gets a laugh. For the first time in my life, I think seriously about the option of suicide. Miss Hudson starts the day with a geography lesson. She spends 10 minutes explaining the concepts of north, south, east, and west. Then she asks the class which country is north of the United States. The children stare up at her, completely baffled. Eventually, Jeffrey raises his hand. Mexico, he guesses? The teacher smiles at him encouragingly. Almost, she says. I watch in stunned silence as she hands the little moron a sticker as a reward for trying his best. What do we say, Miss Hudson asks her other students, when someone tries their very best? The children smile and break into a chant. That's all right, that's okay, we still love you anyway. I vomit bile onto my own leg.